Before I went to China, my mother died. She had cancer. She didn't tell me. She knew that if she told me, I would have packed my bag, stopped everything in my life, and I would have moved and taken care of her because she took care of me. The woman who I despised growing up because she disciplined me was my best friend, my confidant. She was the person when the water bucket was too heavy to carry up the hill, she'd come and help me carry it up. So I was an orphan. My friend April didn't share that in her story, and I don't think she'll mind that. I think God brings you blessings because April shared with me her life of not having parents and making that adjustment. Sometimes you wonder how much more will God, if you believe in God, put upon you. And I broke. I didn't have my zest for life anymore. I was depressed and I cried too because I'm human. No matter how strong I get, there's still learning to do. And I believe that God puts angels in your lives. When I was invited to come back and speak here at LBC, what the planners of this retreat don't know is that it's what I needed most at this time in my life because I was at a crossroads. Because everything that I know about cancer, how many people I helped with cancer outside of cervical cancer, but I couldn't save my mom. I couldn't save her. But what I learned is my mom was incredibly strong. My mom was diagnosed with multiple myeloma the year before my dad died. She was a 17-year survivor, fighter of multiple myeloma. I don't know a lot about that disease, but I hear that it is unheard of for someone to live that long and be as active as my mom did. My mom's the complete opposite of me. Let me tell you, that's why we didn't get along. She's very tiny, petite, ran, did yoga, ate like a bird. Even though we're from the South, if you called her a vegan or a vegetarian, she'd get pissed. I don't know why, but she was, but she didn't want to admit that. It was like, your mom, you're not eating any turkey. I eat some. No, you didn't. But complete opposite. Complete opposite. And she used to just tell me all the time, I just want you to live because I want you to be healthy and I just want you to be here for me. And, she was a great mom. I gave her hell, but she was a great mom. And I'm trying to live even better than I lived before and I was living then. That's my wish for all of you. I can't give you a blueprint. No one here can. You have to make your own blueprint and do what's best for you. But you can do it. It doesn't matter if you do it on a big scale or on a small scale. Just because you are a survivor, you deserve to have that life that you always wanted. Whatever you were thinking of doing, whether it's just a road trip or whatever it is you want, whether it was you want to be a cheerleader for a day, now is the time because tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, not just people with cancer. Now is the time to live. One of the things that I do, I talk about sex, because I believe people don't talk about sex and cancer enough. I talk about the relationships I had. I talk about the actual act of sex and what happened, If any of you want to talk about sex, contact me because I think it's an important topic. I think that this is what my doctor's very funny. She's older, she's very petite. She has a very thick accent. And she's always like, you've been through so much. She was like, you deserve to have good sex and you deserve to have a baby that's not a crack baby. And I'm always like, doctor, please don't say, you can't say those things. But what she's trying to say is, you've gone through so much in your short years that you deserve a great life. And you know what? She's right. I never thought that I would find someone who loved me just for me, who would accept that I couldn't have babies. anyone who asked me, when were you your happiest? And it was this relationship that I had when I first moved to DC, but it was during a time where I didn't want to settle down. But I can tell you, dreams do come true. I've reconnected with that love, and we're so happy, and he loves me for me, whether I'm fat, skinny, tall, short, polka dot, annoying, he loves me. I used to think that you can't have it all, but you can have what's for you and what you want out of it. You just have to go out there and get it. My life is not perfect because life is not perfect. I thought my life was perfect, but no one has a perfect life. It's what you make it. So I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But I really want to have an open dialogue with you. I don't know how much time we have left yet, but this is it. Open book Tamika. You know, in my cervical cancer talks, I say open vagina Tamika, you know? So, any questions? I'm just gonna fan while, you know. And if there are no questions, I'm okay with stopping, or if you guys need a break.
I will ask you, I'm a prostate cancer survivor. Here, I got a mic. I would like for her to share this piece about intimacy and sex, because all men who have prostate cancer, it's a couple's disease. And she understands that she has cervical cancer. I just want her to share a bit, because we know about it, but none of us talk about it. And when we talk about it, we hide it, and it comes out in other ways in us. So if you will share with that, I think it'd be a blessing to all of us to kind of have an understanding of that, because it's very important. We trade off a lot to survive cancer, and a lot of times it's with the side effects. So if you'll
for me, I went from having a normal sized vagina, and this has been on videotape before, so I don't care if it's taped. Everybody knows about my vagina. To basically having about a 2-inch depth of vagina, which isn't a lot to work with. You know, so before, you know, you're like, you know, I want this man that's hung and da da da. Now if my man has a little tiny thing, which he doesn't, you know, it's okay, because I don't have a lot to work with. It makes it very painful with the radiation, even tighter, or your whatever. Like, you just have to relax. You have to let it happen. You have to know that things are gonna happen. Another thing is that you need a partner that you can have open communication with. I think that's number one. And it takes a lot. It may not happen overnight. I remember one time the guy I was dating, we were having trouble having sex, being intimate together, and I said, well, honey, let's try again. And he was like, you're right, try. That's all we're doing is trying. You know, and that's not good for your ego. That's definitely not good for your libido. And it was very difficult. But now having someone in my life that's patient, that's more understanding, and the crazy thing is, we have no issues at all, you know? If it's dry and I have to bring out some lube, he'll just reach over and get it. Before, it was huffing and puffing and all this other stuff. And it's hard when you're not in a marriage, but it's also hard when you're in a marriage, because it's the same thing. You have those communication issues. But it's important to, if you can't talk to each other, get with a therapist. Sex therapists are great, you know, and if your insurance doesn't provide it, I know some great sex therapists that will work with you online or on the phone or things like that. So, I mean, call me, because I really do believe you've survived cancer. The least you could have is an amazing orgasm, you know?
I have a question for you. What about your libido? I mean, one thing that breast cancer's done pushed me into menopause, and I don't even care about it's painful, and I do it for my husband sometimes, but I know he's like wanting more, but I have no desire to do it. So how do you get past that, especially if you can't have hormones? And
I need a lot of foreplay. I will say that I was told that I would never have an orgasm again, and I have. And not everyone is different. I personally do believe this, and I don't know if this is medical or what, but this is what I believe. I believe that, you know, because I'm with someone who's patient, and I could be me in the bed or the closet, the floor, the stairs, wherever, that helped me reach the big O. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it's getting there, and the practicing is great, There's different things that you can use. There's this product that's great for women, and I hate, talking about products or whatever, called Zestra. And it's a stimulant, and if you want, I can send you one because I have like a lifetime supply. and I'm laughing and talking, but I mean, it's like I really do want other people to share this because I know how people suffer in silence. But it's called Zestra, and I can send you some to try, and you just it's a clitoral stimulant. And what I personally do, I have your partner put it on for you because that helps a little bit of the foreplay. And what they have this thing that's called the Zestra Rush. So you get this little rush, you wait for the rush to come, and then you go and you do it, and then you get another rush. So, I mean, that's just one thing. There's some other products that I like. See, it's so much easier to talk about this now because my mom isn't physically here, even though I know she's up there and she can probably still hear and see it. So the little girl in me gets it. So, but there's toys and all these other things you can do too. Girl, get one of my cards and we'll get you right.
Hi, Tamika. I wanted to go back to your mom.
Okay.
Did her having cancer and you having cancer connect you in a way? Were you able to?
I didn't know she
Help
had
her.
cancer until she almost died, and by that time she was already in a coma, and we couldn't talk about it. So psychologically, that broke me, and that's why I wanted to stop being a cancer advocate. I was able to talk to my dad about it, but that was before I had cancer. The truth is that it's weighed heavily on my heart that I had cancer, my parents had cancer, but what it's done, it's made me want to fight cancer even harder.
Right.
But it took me a while to get there.
But I'm sure she knew how much you loved her.
Oh no, she loved me, and a lot of people, they don't understand it. I've had to tell my siblings, it's like you guys were all in the circle, you knew, and I was outside of the circle. And for people who've always teased you about being adopted and all this other stuff, it's not a good thing. But we're healing like anybody else would heal. So it's been a healing process for us. But I love my mom. I miss her. I'm in love now. I wish I could talk to her and tell her because she always liked him. And one reason you should always listen to your mama because, she liked him. And I was like, I'm not ready to settle down, but things happen for a reason.
Tamika, this is a little selfish of me, but can you tell everyone about your home parties?
So obviously you see I like talking about sex. My cancer deals with, below the belt. So what we decided to do with cervical cancer, there was that stigma of human papillomavirus. So we wanted to support women who weren't talking about cervical cancer, who felt like lepers, who felt all alone. So one of my friends, I love party games. I will lie, cheat, almost kill to win party games. And I hate admitting that, but it's just the truth. I love Taboo. And if you play Taboo with me, you better bring it. And when I say I will cheat to win, I will cheat to win. I love Pictionary. I love bingo. Oh my God, I love bingo. So we did party games to teach about HPV. So we have HPV bingo, HPV taboo, HPV Pictionary, which all of y'all will want to play. And let me just tell you, that's a great game to play with your significant other if you want to get stuff going in the bedroom. We call it sectionary instead of Pictionary. It's so much fun. But so we started doing these party games, and we did it for 5 people because, you can talk in an open setting like this, but when you're in a smaller group and when you're with your closest girlfriends, you open up, and then you get the cosmos flowing, you open up a little more. So that's how our HPV parties were done. And you don't have to use that. If anybody wants to use it, I can send you the template. You can use it for whatever cancer or whatever kind of education thing that you want to do. Okay.
I was going to ask